Superman issue 9, Legacy 852. This is Joshua Williamson writing with Bruno Redondo on the art, which is sad because it means he's not on Nightwing probably for a while.
Yeah, but the art looks so good here.
Yeah, but probably was on Nightwing.
Yes, I know. It's one of those sacrificial things. We're like, yeah, Nightwing, but as a Superman fan, this is great. I love the clean lines. Like this type of Superman art that I really like.
Yeah, no, but this is not me arguing. I also love Superman, but Tom Taylor's run is much better than Joshua Williamson's run, so I want the good art on that run.
True, but what I am saying is I'm not going to say no to Redondo drawing Superman because I like the way it looks. You know, like I'm okay. That said, don't take him away from Nightwing for too long. That's all.
Yeah. So Superman was injured after the fight at the end of the last issue. He had a lot of kryptonite kind of glowing on him, kind of thing.
Yeah, kryptonite poisoning.
So here, the issue starts with Lois reading letters that people all over the world are sending him to wish him the best, basically. She's reading them to him as he's unconscious, getting healed by the technology at Supercorp. So, and she's getting teary-eyed, she's having memories, and this is where you see the Redondo art kind of shining, because it's doing a really good job of building up kind of these moments where she's, just hesitating, getting upset, and then going back to reading more letters. But yeah, so we see everyone sort of pulling for Superman. Lex is talking to his mother at Stryker's Island, where she's basically just telling him he's a big disappointment to her, because, that's what she does. And we find out that Lena has already graduated high school and has now got a job at Supercorp, and she's working with the other scientists on keeping the chained... chained. Basically. So, yeah.
I have a feeling it's not a good place for him. There's a reason he was buried too far under there, right?
Yeah. It's also funny to me, like, you have someone that he's clearly going to want to kill. Like, he's going to see Lena as the best target. Yeah. So if he ever does get free, and there's that one panel of his eyes coming from beneath the sort of the
ominous.
It's like the helmet or whatever they've got. I'm chained up in.
We'll call it the helm. But yeah, and it's got the Redondo dot shading in there, so it gives it like this pulpy, like creepiness to it, like an old horror comic. So I like that panel a lot.
Yeah. So Lois makes up an excuse for why her and Clark aren't at the planet. She's on the phone to Jimmy and says, we just had to get away. And he's like, yeah, but like, who's in charge when you're not here? And I'm like, oh yeah, she's the editor. Like, she's kind of important to the operation. And she says, you're in charge. So Jimmy's left in charge of the Daily Planet. And this is when Superman gets up and they have this whole big hug and whatever. And then Lois has a moment and realizes, wait a minute, did I just leave Jimmy Olsen in charge of the Daily Planet? So yeah, maybe we'll have some antics from that, some fun.
Yeah, and then Superman's like, in that, they do the font bubble with all the squiggly lines, which I'm always assuming is, like a kind of like a whisper. He goes, yeah, I think you did. What are you doing here? So just him getting, instantly knowing what's going on, and being back into it. But the stuff with Mercy, those panels, the coloring here, there's something about the shaded pink Superman that I don't know where the pink's coming from, right? Like, is this supposed to be just the light from that room, from like the lamp that's hitting him? But it looks really good. Like, the coloring here is on point, despite otherwise,
Yeah, Mercy comes in and first of all says drop the act. Like, Lex had me in the whole secret identity thing. I know he's Clark, so we don't have to pretend that I don't know why you're here, Lois. But people will start asking questions, so you're going to have to be sneaky about it. But basically they're saying, okay, what's happening next? What is Farm and Graph going to be doing? They're now the main thing to worry about. And they're like, okay, well, we know where they're going next, because we heard last time that Marilyn Moonlight was someone that Lex had wronged, and that's going to be the next person they try and recruit. So Superman, because his suit's damaged, he has to take the one that Lex made, although he obviously modified, because it's still green and purple, so he kind of,
Yeah.
obviously when we see him in a couple of pages, he's turned it into a Superman suit, but he is wearing this very armored looking Superman outfit.
Yeah, it's the Lex suit without the helmet, right? Like, he's got the big shoulders, and then he puts, of course, the Superman S on there.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he's got the spray paint out. He's done a quick job. But yeah, so basically, is this Farm or is this Graph? I can never remember which one.
That's Farm.
That's Farm, right?
Yep. Mr. Graff's the other guy.
So Farm is trying.
Oh wait, no, that's Graff. You're right, because she says, Marion says, "I go where I'm needed, and I'm not playing any of your games, Graff."
Okay.
To be fair, we haven't seen Farm in a minute though, right? Like.
No, we have, but we always see them together, so I never know which one's which.
Right.
They're a pair. It's like I don't know.
Zan and Jaina, although I know who's who, so not like that at all.
I was going to go with like I don't know, Lauren Hardy, so something really timeless. But all right.
I stepped all over that, but again, the coloring here, I think, is really doing a lot of cool work.
I will say, like, I feel like the more we get a farming graph, the more I'm just like, yeah, these villains are like, I kind of like the idea of what they're doing, but their designs and their attitudes kind of lame.
I hate them. Yeah, like on paper it's great, but like, the kryptonite claw.
It doesn't help that here when Superman shows up to try and intervene in this recruitment, not that Marla Moonlight was being convinced, she doesn't want anything to do with them. Superman swoops in and Graft presses a button and his wheelchair turns into like a robot spider like base, so he's into fight mode basically. And all I could think was, this is like Dr. Robotnik from a Sonic video game. Like, this is wacky shit.
Or a producer, was it John Peters?
Yes, spiders are the most dangerous animal in the kingdom.
Oh god.
Yeah. Even the dialogue here did annoy me a little bit, where as the page is turning, as he's like pressing the button, he's like, "It's been a long time since I've stepped into the arena." Then you turn the page of battle, and I'm like, "Okay, all right." Like, this is a bit in the cheesier side than I would have enjoyed. I think. I'm
like, this nerd has been on too many D&D quests. You know, like, nobody talks like this. I don't know, but maybe that's the point. Maybe they're so out of touch with society. And also, out of all the designs to make, he, it's not even a cool looking spider. He's got a bubble helmet going on. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling that. Yeah. So the book takes a weird turn here, right? So there's a bit of a fight with Superman, but basically, Graft fires a beam at Marla Moonlight. She starts to light up. Superman goes to try and save her, and then she basically, in a flash of light, both her and Superman disappear. And Lex was on the comms with him, and he's like, "Wait, Superman, where are you?" And then Mercy's like, "He's gone. There's no trace of him." So what happens here at the end is we cut back to the Wild West. There's a train coming in. We see some kids on a train with an old woman. And then we get some old Western style, like, not superheroes, but like Nighthawk and Cinnamon. Which, by the way, Cinnamon, can I just say, sounds like a stripper name, okay?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but take it for...
Welcome to the stage, Cinnamon.
To be fair, Nighthawk also sounds like the, Magic Mike version. You could say,
I mean, yeah, I suppose I can see that. But they're like cowboys with masks and
these are two Hawk identities. This is Carter and Kendra, or Shayera. Wait, which one's Cinnamon? I can't keep the Hawk timelines, and it's one of it's either Hawk Girl or Hawk Woman.
I get that from Nighthawk. I can see where that correlation is. Yeah. Cinnamon's not telling me Hawk Girl though.
Yeah. Also, just real quick, I looked up. Before we get to this, Graph shoots the beam, and it came from the yellow kryptonite, which, according to the DC database, the yellow kryptonite destroys the ability of a Kryptonian to process the yellow sunlight. So This probably doesn't mean anything, but I thought it might be before I looked it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has Moonlight with it, so I was thinking I was assuming that this time travel that seems to have happened is more based on Moonlight's like abilities, whatever they are, because we don't really know a whole lot about her yet. So, and she,
well, I just thought like if it was like, go ahead.
And she does feel like she's out of the Old West. Like she's, her entire persona looks old fashioned. So it feels like this is obviously going to tie into why she is the way she is in some way.
Right. Actually, that was gold kryptonite. But I just thought like if it was like the red kryptonite, which has varying effects or whatever, that's what caused.
Doesn't gold kill him?
I think silver does. So no, gold removes their powers. Otherwise, it's not. All right. So that was gold. Someone had put the wrong thing. The yellow kryptonite is not actually, but this is weird. It wasn't actually, but it's your man robot. But yeah, so it turns out yellow's not actually there. It's gold, not yellow. But who knows when it comes to Graft and his kryptonite claws?
I'll be honest. I wasn't even thinking about this.
Well,
I would give it a second
for me,
thought.
if you put in the art that it's coming out of the yellow kryptonite claw, there has to be a reason. You know what I mean? But maybe not. I don't know. But yes, so on the train, Nighthawk and Cinnamon. No, clearly this is not supposed to be Metropolis, right? Like this is on a train going to Metropolis.
Possibly. I don't know if it says anything anywhere about where it is going or where they are.
Just because they are out in the Old West, like Metropolis does not like where Metropolis is on the Eastern Seaboard would not look like this hundreds of years ago. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it says Metropolis Express, so yeah, going to Metropolis would make sense. That's
what I'm starting to. That's what I was hoping, but I did get caught up on that because they were in Metropolis and now they get transported, to wherever Nighthawk and Cinnamon are. Which you're right, I can't say that name seriously now. God, you ruined that. Thanks, Pete.
Sounds like a stripper. I'm sorry. It does. This is like I feel like Kendra would punch you in the face if you called her Cinnamon.
Oh, 100%. Kendra and Shaira. So, let's see. I'm trying to see how she got her name. Because if she works in a brothel, I'm going to lose it. Right? But yeah, so go ahead. I'm going to look up to see where this comes from.
Basically, so there's this woman with 2 children, and she's talking about them being visionaries and inventors. So I don't know if they're trying to imply this is like the grandparents elect or something like that. Not that both would be his grand. You know what I mean? Like the one of these kids is like a Lex Luthor or ancestor or something. But anyway, basically, there's a bandit coming in, notably wearing blue and red, and he's on top of the train. Nighthawk and Cinnamon climb up. They tell him to reach for the sky, and it's clearly Superman. And he says he's robbing the train. Look, this is right. This isn't multiverse shit, right? To be fair,
it's time travel.
But I will say, I've had so much recently of characters being whisked away to another world or another time out of nowhere, and knowing Williamson, this will maybe only be like 2 issues before he's back in Metropolis in present day. But part of me goes like, okay, like we're not even going to get the reaction of him transporting. We're just skipping ahead to when he's already established himself as like a bandit in the Old West. I don't know. This just was such a left turn. Like I like the idea that Marlon Moonlight inherently like that's why she's not around all the time, is because maybe she is jumping backwards and forwards in time. Because she's that's maybe part of her abilities or something like that. That is an interesting thing for her character, but the way this ending sets up, it makes it feel like, oh, we're going to be spending like an arc in the Old West with Superman doing stuff before he gets back to present day. And maybe it'll be fun. And maybe if I hadn't just had a stupid Batman arc where he was in an alternate universe for an entire arc, maybe I'd be more lenient on this. But in the current climate, with how I currently feel, this felt like wait, why are we doing this now?
Yes, but also Superman looks cool as hell. He's got that red poncho, the white hat. I know he's a train robber, but it's old Western rules that the white hat's the good guy, right? Like there's that. Like Redondo kills it on that art, even the hat tip up, you know. So yes, inherently silly, and making me question what is going on. But I can't wait to see where it goes.
I feel like this run's just bouncing backwards and forwards. Every time it introduces or does something I quite like, or it has some scenes that I really like, it then does something weird or something that feels rushed, like almost right after. I can't get a solid footing on it at any point, which is a shame. Yeah. It says, next time, the man of yesterday. I see what they did there.
Yep.
I see what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. I'm not angry, but I'm also not that excited for the next issue now. So I don't know what to make of it at this point. I mean, obviously, yeah, Redondo's art is very good. The layouts are excellent. But it does just make me wish he was back on Nightwing, just because I think the storytelling it's equal there. Whereas here, I'm going, oh, this art looks good, but it's also this really lame villain graph firing a beam from his kryptonite nail that he's got in his hand, and he's on top of his robot spider, which transformed out of his wheelchair. It's just really silly stuff, and I don't know. I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, I would say I'm in love with it, but am I enjoying it? Absolutely. Like it's inherently silly, like I said, and as long as it's still tongue-in-cheek and doesn't feel like it's taking it too serious. And I feel that's where the Batman stuff really failed for me. Because I don't mind alternate reality stuff, but it just seemed to be taking it way too seriously. So here, and again, this is not an alternate reality. This is the past, what makes it even more murky. Just because Superman shouldn't be in the Old West. And what's that going to mean? Because it seems like those two kids that were on the train are Graft and Farm.
Is that what they're going for?
They look. That's what I think. They also like Jules and Vern from Back to the Future 3. I was getting those vibes.
I was assuming this was like Lex Luthor's great-grandfather or something. But...
No, because they're talking about the mother. Let me get my book reopened. He's got the black hair.
I mean, I believe you. I believe you that I was too busy thinking what the hell are we doing now to pick up on that detail.
Because it says, recently my family has had quite a few troubles. Heinous bandits steal everything from us at every turn. We need protection. You see, my darling boys are young inventors, visionaries. And that might go into also with Lex. They feel like Lex stole their stuff. So that inherently that's where they go with the, Lex Luthor Revenge Squad.
I assume there'll be an explanation as to why they're sold then. Yep. Because... they'd be over 100 years old easily, based on this time period.
I mean, he's got robot spider legs. I'm sure there's he's found a fountain of youth somewhere.
Dear. Yeah, just kind of a weird direction for me. And that's not the first time I've said that about this Williamson Superman run. So we'll see. Yeah. I was just settling into, okay, the relationship between Superman and Lex is getting more interesting. This Lois stuff is really fun to watch her run the Daily Planet and be caring about Superman. Even the Lena stuff's kind of interesting in terms of like what it might be building to. And no, we can't enjoy any of that because now we have to go into the past. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. See, I thought you were going to say we have to go to the past. I was like, no, we get to go to the past. We get to go to the Old West. So, hopefully it's more like Back to the Future 3. That's what I'm just saying.
Dear. All right, what are you giving Superman issue 9?
I'm going to give this, and it's mostly on the art. I'm going to give it 7.5.
This is a 6 for me, I think. So 6 out of 10. Not terrible by any means.